Hey, and welcome to Connect. Today, we're going to talk about the metaverse. I want to share what we imagine is possible, the experiences you'll have, the creative economy we'll all build, and the technology that needs to be invented, as well as how we're going to all do this together. The basic story of technology in our lifetimes is how it's given us the power to express ourselves and experience the world with ever greater richness. Back when I started Facebook, that mostly meant text that we typed on computers. Then we all got phones with cameras, and the internet became much more visual. And recently, as connections got faster, video has become the main way that we experience content.
This is my home page. The first page, or the front door, if you will, of my website.
There is your home space. You're going to be able to design it to look the way you want, maybe put up your own pictures and videos and store your digital goods. You're going to be able to invite people over, play games, and hang out.
And my website is called WebHead's home page.
We've gone from desktop to web to phones,
Beautiful.
from text to photos to video. But this isn't the end of the line.
Oh, and I've also incorporated a bunch of QuickTime video clips. They take forever to download from a distant computer to your own computer over the modem, but they're pretty cool, and I think they'll help explain things.
The next platform and medium will be even more immersive, an embodied internet where you're in the experience, not just looking at it.
It will only take a second. It's still downloading.
And we call this the metaverse. Your home is your personal space from which you can teleport to anywhere you want.
Actually, it'll probably take a little while longer, but when it does come, when it actually arrives, you'll see it. Pretty cool.
And you're going to be able to do almost anything you can imagine. Get together with friends and family, work, learn, play, shop, create, as well as entirely new categories that don't really fit how we think about computers or phones today. We've put together something that I think is really going to give you a feeling for what this future could be like. We believe the metaverse will be the successor to the mobile internet. We'll be able to express ourselves in new, joyful, completely immersive ways. And that's going to unlock a lot of amazing new experiences. About making the time that we already spend better. Screens just can't convey the full range of human expression and connection. They can't deliver that deep feeling of presence. We're starting to get a sense of how it could all come together and what it could feel like. So today we're going to do something a little bit different.
If you want to understand the internet, it helps to have a model. So, okay, try and imagine that my apartment represents the entire world. Okay, that's easy for me. I don't get out much anyway. If my apartment represents the world, then all of my appliances and stuff represent different computers and information. So if I wire them together, just hold on a second, this will take a minute.
We have to go even further and to say that it's not just the television appliance, it's not just the computer appliance, but it might be the stove appliance, it might be the camera appliance, it might be the doorbell appliance, it might be the video camera appliance, it might be the thermostat appliance, it might be the telephone appliance, or some other, your wristwatch appliance. All of these appliances might actually be the equivalent of the telephone receivers that let us access the networks that are coming into our homes. And what we've got to do, I think, to start wrapping our minds around how this stuff is different is recognizing that the services and so on should not be anchored in the television or in the computer, but they should be across the full range of electronic appliances that are in our home. And when we start to see that, the interconnectivity, then maybe we can start to see the nature of the beast as it's really evolving.
That's what the metaverse is all about. Now, the best way to understand the metaverse is to experience it yourself, but it's a little tough because it doesn't fully exist yet. Some of the basic building blocks are here, though, and others are starting to emerge as we speak. We're starting to get a sense of how it could all come together and what it could feel like.
What you want out of a computer is you want it to basically be as useful as a fridge. You open the fridge door, you get the beer, and the beer is cold. That's about all you want to know about it, and that's the level of complexity that you want to be able to deal with.
This network that I made is like the internet, sort of.
there will be challenges and risks and disruption of established interests. But there will also be opportunities and benefits that we can't even imagine yet, for connection, for creation, for learning, and joy.
9. Internet visionaries see a future where everybody is connected and everything. The idea truly has captured people's imaginations, as you've probably noticed. You see it everywhere. But there's no question that the internet and computer networking technology truly has reached into our lives and become a growth engine for the world's economy. It may, in fact, completely restructure the way that we do things, much as the Industrial Revolution did, or the invention of the printing press.
Let's be very clear. People who talk about the information revolution in the same terms as the Industrial Revolution simply don't know anything about history. At the time of the Industrial Revolution, those affected, much less those driving, did not have the economic, educational, or political franchise to have anything to do about it, any say in it, or to understand the issues.
The internet is really got nothing to do with it. It's current. It's like a pop thing right now. That's all fundamentally it is right now.
Facebook was born in a specific time and place.
It's not something that I can hope for, and there's nothing we can do to change it, because it's a wire. It's a bunch of wires strung around town in some relatively, interesting, in some cases, boring software that allows these wires to talk to each other, and that's about all.
It was what we could build at the time to put people back into our experience of technology. But connecting people was always much bigger.
And the fundamental difference, at least within our upper middle class Western society, is that in this case, it is knowable. And we do have the political enfranchisement and the social ability to bring, and the education, to bring some influence to bear as to where the technology goes, how it goes. And with that, therefore, to me, says, there comes a responsibility.
The experiences we're allowed to build and use are more tightly controlled than ever. And high taxes on creative new ideas are stifling. This is not the way that we are meant to use technology.
The internet is really got nothing to do with it. It's current. It's like a pop thing right now. That's all fundamentally it is right now. The real value of the focus has got to be on the information.
When it comes down to it, it doesn't matter what the transportation system is. What we're talking about is a community.
One of the reasons I started Facebook was that at the time you could use the internet to find almost anything. Information, news, movies, music, shopping, except for the thing that matters most of all, people. We're going to talk about the future. So let's start by exploring what different kinds of metaverse experiences could feel like, starting with the most important experience of all, connecting with people.
Absolutely. This is a community of people who are able to exchange messages and information and converse and so on and so forth, just like any other community, except instead of meeting at the corner store or at the bar or whatever, they happen to meet through their computers. Let's call it my social network. And therefore, my social network actually extends all over the world.
It becomes like going down to the cafe in the afternoon and spending an hour with your friends, just having a coffee and catching up, or going to the pub, or going on a picnic with a bunch of friends. It's about hanging out, it's about chatting, it's about engaging in a political discussion if you want to, it's about playing an erotic game if you want to, it's about talking about how your study is going, or your life, or your relationship.
People. Today, we are seen as a social media company. But in our DNA, we are a company that builds technology to connect people. And the metaverse is the next frontier, just like social networking was when we got started.
It's all the things that you do in real life with the people with whom you work, or your friends or your lovers, but it's doing it with people with whom you don't have a physical relationship. You have an intellectual relationship and an emotional relationship.
Isn't that the ultimate promise of technology? To be together with anyone, to be able to teleport anywhere, and to create and experience anything? It was always clear that the dream was to feel present with the people we care about.
It's just like real life.
One of the interesting things about the electronic networks is you're not judged by who you are or where you work or what you wear. What you're judged by is what you say and do. You're judged by your content production. You're judged by what your mind produces and spits out your fingers.
There's a far deeper level of interaction that is possible here, and that is interaction in the form of my ability to create and author things, as well as simply select what I want to read or receive.
I believe that we're put on this earth to create. I believe that technology can make our lives better, and I believe that the future won't be built on its own. It will be built by those who are willing to stand up and say, this is the future we want, and I'm going to keep pushing and giving everything I've got to make this happen. I will do my best to celebrate this spirit and absolutely go for it.